Kronos' Innocent Cops could be a good song title. Kronos' Innocent Cops could be a good song title. I've got innocent cops, innocent cops. I'm not dying today. You've got innocent cops, innocent cops. You're not dying today either.
It's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford, the anti-tracker here. Sorry I'm late. I was actually talking to a guy I'm working with on the 3D model that we're going to be putting out, hopefully not in the not too distant future, of the USS Anti-Tracker. So very excited about that. It's actually coming along really well. It is a completely original design. It's not, you know, when you see it, they're not going to say, oh, well, that's a modified version of this class of ship, or that's a modified version of that class. No, it's completely original from the ground up. And yeah, it's going to blow you guys away, at least I hope. Or you're going to just think it sucks, and then I'll just quit. All right, so Alexander's first in the house. Thomas, a quick second, says hi. 47 Yorktown says 47 Yorktown says hello. T is in the house, says up. Josh says make the torture stop. Piano Dean is here, says first to pass out soon. Hey, Piano Dean, you know, your studio setup is coming along good. I can't wait until we can do live stream together, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We were going to do that tonight, but he had some tweaking to do with his home setup, but it's coming along really nice. Chrono says we are Groot indeed. Mark says hi. Valor says I actually managed to make it. Good job, my friend. Jaeger says hi. Hope you're feeling okay, Jaeger. Give me an update here, buddy. And T says, so what's Bird talking about putting what in what hole? You have to ask him about that, because I'm not entirely sure. Tom says, DJ was live streaming, you jerk. I'm sorry, I checked before I started. I guess I probably, here's the problem. I checked the YouTube homepage. It didn't show anybody streaming that I knew. And so I went ahead and got it started. But you know how YouTube is, sometimes it won't recommend somebody. And so then you get screwed. So I am sorry. But Night Breeze puts a buck in.
Turn on sound, switch to live chat, turn on notifications, tell your friends, hit the like.
Thank you so much.
Button down with Karoga and all hail Hypnoturd.
Why you gotta do Hypnoturd? You jerk. Alright, fine.
Kronos' Innocent Cops could be a good song title.
Alright. And so...
All hail the Hypnoturd. Long live the Hypnoturd. The Hypnoturd is life. The Hypnoturd is love. The Hypnoturd is you. Give yourself to Hypnoturd. You are Hypnoturd.
So there you go, Night Breeze. And let's see. And so, yeah, I wonder if the system, that is possible. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes people from, let me check. DJ Odyssey. So it shows I'm still subscribed to him. So, but it also does not show that he's live right now. Unless I'm missing something. I'm looking at his homepage right now. Are you messing with me? Because it does not show. Oh, wait. No, now it popped up. Game night and chat streamed 3 minutes ago. Man, I feel horrible now. DJ, if you're here, I'm sorry. That was not intentional. Was I first? Can I get a wrench? I had to get off a slow chat. Well, the wrench won't get you off a slow chat, I don't believe. But because you asked nicely, we'll try it out. But you abuse the wrench, and I take it away. You can ask other people. It's true. Mark says, I agree. You are Groot. Thank you. I think. Corona says, wow, a short intro. Well, that's just to prove that I can, in fact, do it. Aberjam says, greetings, oh great Turtistani. Hey, how's the great bard doing? Free Aberjam, still trapped in the bowels of Karoga. Admiral says, yo, Mike, how you feeling? I'm hanging in there, my friend. Enjoying whatever this is, the quarantine thing. We're going to talk about that tomorrow morning a little bit, and so I hope you guys can join me. I'm going to do my Rational Roundtable stream tomorrow morning, but I'm actually going to do it on this channel because I think we need to talk about some of these serious things on a larger scale than just the Rational Roundtable crowd. No offense to just the Rational Roundtable crowd, but I want to get the word out there as far as what I'm thinking about some of this stuff. And I will tell you, our church put out a heck of a message tonight. Chrono says, are you feeling all right? Yeah, I'm doing all right. That almost sounded like Depeche Mode. Really? You think so? E says the social distancing thing sucks. Yeah, when people bother to do it, that's the thing. It's like we went to the store today, and don't even get me started about people. Tom says you must do the Momo challenge to get a ranch. I did not realize that. And Epic says fake news. I am Groot. Well, we are Groot. Crota says I really hate it when you say you're sorry. Need to correct you when you keep saying that. I will try not to. And Alexander says, okay, I'll do it. The Momo challenge. Oh, you don't do it. Don't do it. Mike Richard says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. And, hey, good to see you, Mike. Hope things are going well there. JP is in the house, says, hello, Jello. You forgot a ja on the end. Hello, Jello, ja. No. And Kronos then says, and I shall. I know you will. KG's in the house says, good evening, my friend. Hope all's well. Hanging in there. Hanging in there. Jaeger says, I'm okay. Good. Let's see. Kronos says, please don't forget to live chat. I remembered today. Thank you, Kronos. Britta was trying to put a hoverboard up his nose. Why am I not surprised at all? DJ says, proof. Anti-checker on sub. No, actually, it still showed subbed. But, YouTube is wonky. You know that, DJ. You know that. Kronos says, we all live live. Hypnoturd? I assume you mean love. Well, okay. Valor says, Mr. Miles always first. I'm forever awesome. Baby Yoda makes a great coconut, pineapple, and mint chocolate milkshake. Wow. Antrigger is cooler than Baby Yoda, and Auntie is cuter than Baby Yoda. Well, I'll agree with you on most of those things, but not necessarily all of those things. Jaeger says, sore throat won't go away, but other than that, I'm surviving. Feel bad for several hobby shots that have to close due to not being essential. Oh, man, that does suck. Here, like places like Hobby Lobby and stuff, they're still open. We don't have any kind of mandatory shutdowns at this point, but obviously a lot of restaurants and stuff are just getting killed right now. And Andy Jecker unsub DJ. I did not unsub DJ. I am still subscribed to him. Darren says YouTube's been messing up all day for me. Live streams haven't come up in my sub feed. Yeah, well, I didn't see anything when I checked, because I'll tell you guys, I do this whenever I live stream. I will usually go to my homepage, see if it shows anybody's streaming. If they are, then I'll go to their stream and say, hey, FYI, I'm about to live stream, so that I at least give fair warning. But Nothing. Jeff says, wrench does not get you off slow chat. I did not think it did. Yeah, Nightbreeze says he was tired of losing anyway. Okay. TJ has a wrench again. When did that happen? Did DJ lose his wrench? I don't remember that. Can I have another shot at the wrench, Mike? I don't know, Admiral Saval. I don't know. You kind of went a little nuts the first time. I'll think about it. E says, so many people on YouTube cause quarantine makes YouTube act up. That's true. I do know that they actually said in the news that YouTube and Netflix and a couple other things, I think Amazon Prime, are all looking at basically restricting the bandwidth. So that, like, for example, if you're, I don't know what they're going to do, but like, say, knock it down from 1080p to 720 or something, so that, because with everybody being home, and in fact, I can see that right now, because on my streaming software, it says it's streaming at 1080 at 60 frames per second. Let me see. Well, no, it does look like that's an option. So, yeah. Okay. So, guess it hasn't happened yet. But, yeah. They've been talking about limiting it for because of bandwidth issues, because basically with so many people basically having nothing to do but sit around the house and stream, well, more people are streaming. Krog has bowels. Well, that's what they call it. Jeff says, does it? Let's test. Guess it does. Okay. News to me. Jaeger says, panic! Just kidding. You know, it's funny. I was actually telling Mrs. Anchecker today when we were at the store that what we need right now is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the actual book, so that people can read it and have it say, don't panic. Albert Jam says, of course we can join you tomorrow morning. And everybody's confined to quarters. Well, that's true. Carlos says, do you mention the time? Not yet. It'll be when I get up. Because since I'm off on the weekends now, at least temporarily, we did church tonight. Although we couldn't go to church because church services have been canceled indefinitely. But what they did was they basically held the service exactly as they normally would, but live streamed it. And I have to say, attendance was a little low. I was kind of disappointed. Jeff says, greetings from my personal hell. Oh, I'm sorry if you're having a rotten day, Jeff, but I understand. A lot of people are. Only way to truly have social distancing that works is eat lots of beans and stop showering with the power of stank compels you. That would probably work, JP. Piano G says, I'm excited to rock out for you guys here in the next couple of days. I think we're ready. Awesome. Hypnoturd sucks without the music, says DJ. I know, I gotta find that song. I'm not sure what happened to it, because when I click on the button to play it, nothing happened, so I've got to figure that out. And Donnie says, here's the latest SoundCloud. Okay, so everybody can check out Donnie's latest SoundCloud, and Predar puts a couple of euros in.
And to appreciate the importance of phone sanitizer.
Absolutely. In fact, I will tell you, as some of you already know, I participate in a prison mentorship program that our church sponsors. So every Saturday morning for the last month or so, I've been visiting this inmate at our local jail. And basically, I've made the decision that unless the jail actually closes to the public, I will continue to do so. However, don't go unarmed. Because the way that those they work is you're basically talking on a handset telephone. So yeah, want to sanitize that sucker. And Donnie says, okay, 17 likes, keep them coming. Absolutely. We're up to 19 now. Only 39 people watching, though. I wonder what's, I guess I just can't get the numbers tonight. Or YouTube doesn't like me. But then again, since I wasn't seeing anybody stream, maybe there is a problem with notifications on streams or something. Admiral Saval says, wasn't I semi-right about 7 of 9 making that Cube's queen for episode 8? Well, she took over the cube for about 13 seconds, which I felt was extremely disappointing. Because if you're gonna do it, do it. But she takes over the cube, and then 10 seconds later, they vent all the Porg out into space, and then she stops being the queen, but then she's still in control of the cube, even though she's not in charge. They kind of broke the show. Corona says, I believe in Baby Groot, not Baby Yogurt. Okay, well, Baby Groot, as you can see on the printer, is almost done. In fact, here, there's a good view of Baby Groot on the printer. So it will be done probably in the next hour or so. And unfortunately, I can't start the next print right away because I'm moving some stuff around so I have easier access to the printer. But then, and I also, hopefully, if all goes well, waiting to see what the final numbers are from Google, because Google did not pay me today, even though I could view the numbers. I didn't actually get paid like I was supposed to, but then that happens sometimes when the payday's on the weekend, so I'm assuming I'll get paid on Monday. But if it is what I suspected it will be, I might be able to get a second printer going, which will be really good because we're getting closer to having that ship model done. And Alexander puts $10 in, and there we go.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
I understand that the time you're on the West Coast I'll let you drive my DeLorean, and by lunch bar tab my DeLorean is fast your friend in Oregon.
I would love to drive your DeLorean. I've never been in a DeLorean. I've never even seen one up close. So that would be very cool, my friend. And yes, I got to remember now. And of course, we do visit Oregon from time to time. Obviously, travel is out right now, but we do visit Oregon from time to time since my daughter still lives there. Jaeger says, I think restaurants can survive on deliveries and do you think restaurants can survive on deliveries and pickups alone? In theory, yes. In practice, because here's the problem. Everybody is panic buying. The funny thing is now, people are still making runs on toilet paper and stuff. I mean, the stores can't get it on the shelves. And now, fresh meat, gone. Like when we were at, we went to a couple of stores today because we had a few things to get. And like at Walmart, the meat department, the only thing they had on the shelf was freaking cow livers and neck bones. That's it. There was nothing else on the shelf at all as far as meat.
Hello, world.
And Indy Tiger puts $5 in.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
I've decided not to get COVID-19. I'll wait for the COVID-20 upgrade later this year.
That is horrible, Indy. That is horrible. But I do got to say, I did find a product that I really do like. This is a new product, and it's actually something that they've had for people that can have sugary drinks for a while. But for those of us that try not to have too much sugar, and I know people are going to complain that diet is worse for you than regular, but whatever. But I don't like standard diet soft drinks, but I like the 0-calorie versions of some of these drinks. Basically, it depends on the sweetener that's used, but the 0 version is almost always better. And they only recently launched Mountain Dew Zero, which is way better than Diet Mountain Dew, because I won't drink Diet Mountain Dew. I can't stand it, but I will drink, for example, Mellow Yellow Zero. But Mountain Dew Zero is really good. But this is something that I'm excited about because my son's favorite, Mountain Dew has like 75 flavors, and I always get mad. It's like they come out with all these cool flavors, but they don't make them in diet. Well, they now have Mountain Dew Baja Blast Zero. So, and I gotta say, I had one earlier today. I'm gonna have my second one now, and it's good stuff. Life with Matthew is in the house. How you doing, Life with Matthew? Don't spend all that money I sent you once. Life with Matthew. See, even though I didn't get paid yet, Life with Matthew did because I calculated his ad revenue, which it's not hard to count those smaller numbers. But and don't forget, Matthew, I don't know if you saw my message, but did you get that next one I was talking about done? Because I think that we need to continue we need to continue building what you were doing, and I think we can do it. Spam test. Okay. Tom says, slow chat doesn't affect people with a wrench. Bird of Prey found that out the hard way. Yeah, well, see, here's the thing. You guys start spamming if you have a wrench and you'll lose your wrench. Just saying. Because it doesn't take much for me to make the wrench disappear. Well, I just noticed that there are 60 frames per second tonight. It's the first I've seen that happen. It's almost too much, Anti-Tracker. Well, actually, I've been streaming at 60 frames for about a week now. You just didn't notice. Or your system settings were to a lower frame rate. But it doesn't, do I think it needs to be 60 frames? No. I mean, because, yeah, you're looking at me. It's not like you're looking at Mrs. Anti-Tracker. And Admiral Swell says, spinning spot, please, for my prediction of Star Trek Picard Episode 8. Wow, now you want a free super chat because you guessed the obvious that 7 would take over the Borg cube, huh? All right, I'll be a softie this one time for you, Admiral. There you go. Don't say I never did anything for you, Admiral. And Kroos is like, church is canceled. No! Well, they canceled the physical services because of, people's concerns over the coronavirus. But, yeah. Darren says, one theory I've heard is that they sent everyone home so that they are nice and comfortable when they announce that the world is enclosed as an enclosed flat plane. I kind of doubt that one, Darren. Although that would be hilarious if you were right. Val says, Vivian is really enjoying the Star Trek Online mission, The Measure of Mortality Part 1. She's torturing Burnham. Her friend was watching Star Trek Discovery and wouldn't turn it down, so she's blowing off steam. Very nice. I still haven't played it. Prison Mentorship Program, eh? Yes! And it's actually, I've been very, it's been a lot of fun. Fun isn't probably, it's been rewarding, put it that way, to be encouraging to this guy, talking to him every week, and just being a friend to him at a time when he doesn't have a lot of friends. So, Jeff says, the other night I thought I was dead. No one even acknowledged me. I'd fallen asleep. When I woke up, it was like no one would respond to me for a long time. Well, hope I wasn't one of those people, because I see you, Jeff. Darren says some states, like mine, are literally emptying the prisons to protect the inmates. Yeah, that's actually what the guy that I talked to, I don't want to give his name because didn't get his permission to, but so he said that he heard that he saw on the news, because they can actually watch the news, that a lot of prisons have been releasing inmates, and they're like, hey, when's our turn? And it's like, dude, you only got 38 days left. You'll be all right. Jaeger says, thoughts on how long this is going to last? The U.S. and the USNS Mercy and USNS Comfort suddenly became a lot more popular, responding to emergencies in New York and Portland. I don't know, but they need to, it's already been too long, in my opinion. The economic damage is going to become irreversible in the not too distant future. I don't understand why releasing the prisoners is stopping the virus, because prisoners are tougher than virus cells. They'll beat the crap out of them. Vile Mike says, blame the lower viewership on the fact that one of my videos is now on your channel. That's got to be it, Vile. That's got to be it. Actually, I do think that it's probably YouTube, because I don't think that it's anything other than YouTube. But I don't usually stream Saturday night, so I don't know. Everything about Star Trek Picard is designed to piss us off. Well, I don't know about everything, but a lot of it seems to be right now. Epic says, I couldn't see your stream on my home screen either. DJ had just had to give me the link, so YouTube is chaotic for sure. Yeah, I think that it is a YouTube notification problem, and that's why, because usually I would have between 70 and 100 people by now, and we're looking at 40. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying, well, I only have 40, because, you know, a couple of months ago, 40, I was like, woohoo, I have 40. It's just that it's obvious that there's a problem. Jeff says, does Joe drive at 88 miles per hour? Are you kidding? That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm kidding. Is Baby Groot eating your Baby Yoda, or is Baby Groot vomiting after listening to Laura and Bird's duet? Actually, neither. It's kind of funny. I know it does look like Baby Groot's vomiting there, but that's what's called support, and that's basically plastic parts that are built up to support stuff that needs to be printed. Like, for example, if I'm printing a hand holding a stick like this, it can't print the stick with nothing underneath it. So it builds up a support piece, then it puts the stick on top of the support piece. Then when it's done printing, you can snap the support piece off. And so what you see going up into his mouth is support for the upper part of his mouth, of the interior of his mouth. Let's see. Josh says, is Baby... Oh, I just read that. And the chat jumped on me. Average Jam says, zero sodas suck. And Cherry Pepsi Max is the only choice. Pepsi Max is definitely better than Diet Pepsi, but you're wrong. I saw the last Star Wars movie halfway through. I got bored. And Darren says, zero drinks are diet drinks. The diet drinks are marketed towards men. That's why the soy-based life forms don't like. They are diet drinks marketed towards men. That's why the soy-based life forms don't like them. Well, I don't know about that, Darren, because I will tell you, and tasting them right side by side, I can taste the difference between Diet Mountain Dew and Mountain Dew Zero. There is clearly a difference in the flavor. Vile says, things out of stock in my store. Toilet paper, paper towels, paper plates, facial tissue, meat, lunch meat, flour, baking supplies, soup, tuna, frozen pizza, TV dinners. My patience with idiots. Yep, pretty much the same here, buddy. Pretty much the same here. I didn't know 60 frames per second until tonight. Why would I be looking at Mrs. Antchecker? I'm saying that Mrs. Antchecker would be better to look at 60 frames. And no, Kronos, you cannot look at Mrs. Antchecker. Piano Dean says, Antchecker, can we show everyone my second test run? I have the link. Sure thing, Piano Dean. I think, well, hopefully we don't get hit with a copyright strike, but go ahead. Go ahead and send me the link, and then I'll bring it up. Or actually, you sent it to me already. Let me go to my, you don't even need to, oh, well, you already did. So I'll open that link, let me pause it, and then we'll switch screens, and we'll bring this over here. So there is Dean, in case you're wondering what Piano Dean looks like. This is his setup. I've been advising him a little bit about getting things going for this.
There was a time I was everything and nothing all in one. When you found me, I was feeling like a cloud across the sun. I need to tell you how you light up every second of the day. And in the moonlight, you just shine like a beacon off the bay. And I can't explain, but there's something about the way you look tonight. It takes my breath away. It's a feeling I get about you deep inside. And I can't describe. There's something about the way you look tonight. It takes my breath away. The way you look tonight.
There it is. Bravo. Bravo, Piano Dean. I wish I had a tenth of the talent that you do, my friend. Chrono says, it's the Chinese virus. It's actually coronavirus strain 2019, but whatever. How long till Groot's done printing? Probably a matter of maybe an hour or two. Support equals vomiting confirmed. Well, that's an interesting confirmation. Alexander says, you can drive 88 if you want. Nothing happens, but you get a speeding ticket. Ask my brother. You know what, I'm just old enough to where, like, if I put on a wig, like a Doc Brown wig, and we drove down I-5 at 88 miles an hour, we got pulled over, and the cop says, sir, do you know how fast you were going? And I'd be like, wow, I was trying to see some serious shit and see if he and I'd get a ticket. Valor says her friend was waiting for her ride. Her friend says Star Trek Discovery is the better Trek show, better Trek show she's ever seen. Asked her what Trek show she's seen before Star Trek Discovery, and she said she never watched any others. Well, that makes sense then. Other Charles is in the house, says, I enjoyed the recent Balance of Terror Part 2 review. I point with the episode whenever I need a puncture the myth of Kirk being whenever I need a puncture to puncture the myth of Kirk being a womanizing space cowboy. Yeah, he is actually, Kirk was really good in that. That was one of Kirk's best episodes. And by the way, if you have not seen Part 1, in Part 2 is a link to Part 1 over on Vile Mike's channel. You should check that out because it was a joint effort. And yes, it is a blatant attempt for Vile Mike to get some more subs, which I hope you did, Vile Mike, if you're still here. But, that's kind of why we did it. But I also enjoyed doing it. It was fun. Is it wrong to make her wait outside for that? No. In fact, it's wrong for you to ever let her back in your house. Just kidding. It's the Commonwealth of Virginia. We're on lockdown. No school for college kids. No school for kids not college age. All state government offices are closed as well. See, that is a mistake. Closing down, how are people going to file for unemployment and stuff if you shut down the government? I'd very much like to look at Mrs. Anti-Trekker. Well, you're not gonna. Ralph says, you have good taste. We both have the same favorite episodes, Balance of Terror. It is a great, great episode. Yeah. Our governor didn't think plumbers or electricians are important enough to stay open, so what happens if someone's stuck in their house and loses power as a bad pipe break? Yeah, that's a big problem. PRD says super chats accepted. Yes, we're gonna do a support starving musician stream here in the near future, and all super chats from that stream will in fact go to Piano Dean. Zachary says, I can sing, but I don't play piano. I can kind of carry a tune, but yeah, the only instrument I can play is the flute, and that's not like a really cool one. KG says, real DeLoreans don't even go 88 miles per hour. Well, I try. Chrono says, don't give in to the BS. It's from China. That's the way viruses are labeled. Not necessarily every virus. For example, we don't call influenza by the name of where it came from. We usually, if it's a mutated influenza, we'll change the name based on what it mutated from. For example, the bird flu or the swine flu. Just like actually this coronavirus could just as easily be called the bat coronavirus because it is a mutated form of the bat variant of the coronavirus. It is, while sometimes they do name viruses based on region, that is not a standardized methodology. The coronavirus has existed for a very long time. This is nothing new. It's just a new strain of it. Nightbreeze says, do that so we can get a live stream from the loony bin. I'm not sure what you mean there. I must have missed something. Zachary says, I see you more of a Commander Krug. Hush, delez-vous. Actual line from the film. Real DeLoreans fall apart at 88. Well, We'll find out. Nightbreed says, you and Vile Child need to do more reviews together. Great interaction. The funny thing is I never talked to Vile Child. That was all thanks to Vile Mike's clever writing and editing. So not once did I actually talk to Vile Child. And my incredible acting skills, of course. Well, I, for one, do not want to see Mrs. Antitrekker on general principle. Why? Because she's Mrs. Antitrekker. Well, thank you. Good to see someone has some common sense. And Resolute Germ puts a couple of bucks in. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And we'll see what... Okay, there we go.
Hello, world.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
Get it right, it's the CCP plague.
It's not the plague. Yeah. California's on lockdown and reminds me of Omega Man. I tell you, you see, we're not in lockdown, so it doesn't look that weird for here. You can still travel freely. Most businesses are open. I think the lockdown thing is a bad idea. I really do. What happens if you're on lockdown? I mean, that's why people are panic buying. What happens if you go on lockdown for 2 weeks and you don't have 2 weeks worth of food, right? And you say, well, you go to your local store, but all the employees of the store are on lockdown, so they can't go to work. Or even if they can, the farmers are on lockdown, so they can't, work their crops. And even if they can, the truck drivers are on lockdown, so they can't deliver no, it's a bad idea. Please, for the love of God, you idiots running these various state governments, if any of you are watching this show, stop the damn lockdowns. You're going to destroy what is left of the economy. Sorry. Epic says, I'm a starving anti-hero. Please send all money meant to go to Antitrekker to me. Already has enough poo money. Well, no, actually, I don't have enough poo money. I do need more poo money. The virus is Batman's fault. Okay. William Shatner is doing Captain's Logs on Twitter. Is he? Very cool. KG says, no, seriously, the speedometer only goes up to 85 and had to modify it for the movie. Well, I think in the movie, wasn't it a digital speedometer? Which clearly, everything on the dashboard was not stock. Vile says, but calling it a Chinese virus makes it look more like it was China's fault and not an inept government action. So, yay, China virus. Well, that's the thing is that, and here's the thing. Do I care? Does it matter where the virus came from? Does it make any difference? The answer is no. And if you say COVID-19, or you say the coronavirus, or you say the China virus, it's the same damn thing, all right? But here's the thing. If one of those three names is taken as offensive by a significant portion of the population, why use it? Just to offend them? Well, now you're just being a dick. And I'm sorry, I'm not generally a dick. And so I'm not going to call it the China virus if someone who is Chinese might find that offensive. And here's the thing. I have seen video footage of Chinese people and even non-Chinese Asians getting discriminated against because of this damn virus. And it's so stupid. You have, there was this one video that Mrs. Antitrekker showed me. It's like these people on a subway looking at some Asian person. They didn't identify where she was from, but the guy was like telling her to, send her filthy butt back to China or whatever, and she brought the virus here and stuff. That is so effed up. All right? That is just so wrong. And granted, I understand not everybody who says China virus is intending that, but it's encouraging people that do think that way. So I'm not going to do that. It's just, I call it the coronavirus. That's what it was when this thing first broke, and that's what I'm sticking with because that is the technical name of the virus. Better not hear you reference Andorian shingles, heart right, jelly, and fever. Well, the funny thing about that is that I understand where you're saying that, but if you're, and I don't, first of all, I thought Andorian shingles was stupid. I know that was a throwaway line in Star Trek 2009, but the thing is that, okay, if you're talking about now interplanetary things, well, just like if you're talking about diseases that are specific to a region, for example, and you know this, Darren, since you're in the military, if you're going to get stationed in a specific region of the world, you actually get inoculated for different diseases based on where you're going, right? In the United States of America, malaria is not a big problem. But if you're going to be visiting Sub-Saharan Africa, you better get your malaria vaccine. But you know what they don't call malaria? African disease. They could, but they don't. They call it malaria. Chrono says, I think you're getting lazy. Can't you just read your own super chats? No, I am too lazy for that. I'm so important now that I have to have a computer read it for me. And actually, it's so that I don't miss it. That's why I actually did that. And Shadow Man puts $5 in. Thank you so much. And waiting for the stupid announcement thing, because any day now. Really? Come on.
Hello, world. I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
I love your channel, dude. I feel bad for fighting with you on Twitter. Smiley face, cool face. Keep up the great work and stay safe from this nation-neutral virus.
Shadow, first of all, let me say this. It was not you. As far as the people on Twitter that pissed me off, well, you were a little grating a couple of points, but honestly, you know the person I'm thinking of. I'm not going to say his full handle, but Divine was in it. He's the only one that owes me an apology for the way he's behaving. But don't worry about it, man. It's all in good fun, and we can argue and fight over what's good and what's bad and, all that. But I think that genuinely, when people think that, like, and this is the thing that kind of got me about some of that stuff that was going on Twitter, is people are saying, oh, Anti-Trekker, he's just a shill for new Trek. Because, of course, if I don't hate Picard, that means I must love Discovery or something. And I will tell you, I hate Discovery with a passion. And there are people in this chat right now that disagree with me on that. There are a couple of people in this chat that like Discovery, and that's okay. That's their opinion. I disagree with them, but that's their opinion. But then when where I got kind of ticked off at that other person was, look, when I brought in Dr. Alex, and Dr. Alex unfortunately isn't here right now, but I brought in Dr. Alex, who is in fact a PhD in cosmology. He is, in fact, an expert on the subject. And we talked about the destructive force of a supernova and how that could relate to the relative size of the Romulan Empire and everything. And basically, he said, 50 light years, and based on what we see, that could definitely envelop at least a large chunk of the Romulan Empire. And then people's got to say, oh, no, that's wrong, because I read it on Google. And then that person's out there, Anti-Trekker's sitting there saying that a supernova will reach 500 light years, which I never said. But, that's the kind of stuff that was getting under my skin, is that it's like, look, you want to show me your PhD and demonstrate how you're an expert on this, and then show me the reason why I'm wrong, fine. And Michael Burnham donated $1.
Put it right there, Darren, my dear. Yes, right there.
Oh, there you go, Darren. So.
Hello, world.
And Nightbreeze puts in $5.
Great hit! Don't get cocky.
You too, please.
You got it, my friend. So, Uber chat number 2, and let's bring. I don't even remember which one that is now.
In the tradition of our Vulcan ways, the two of you must fight to the death in Kunat Kalafi.
I don't think this is really all that fair.
I have to choose a winner, and the winner is DJ.
What?
What can I say? I love bunnies.
So there you go. That's as much of Mrs. Anti-Trekker as you're going to see. And thank you, Nightbreeze. I do appreciate it. Jeff says there's only one woman I want to see. Well, I don't know who that is, but I hope that it's not Mrs. Anti-Tracker. You can still buy a DeLorean brand new. Some guy bought all the parts inventory. He'll build one for you. That's hilarious. But I'm sure it would cost way more money than I've got. Vile Mike says she did react to you as we played your recording. She did react to you as we played your recording. We recorded our lives to make it more believable. Oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. Donnie says, no apologies needed, Michael. Yeah, health and safety do come first. Indeed. Valor says, I can't sing, play anything, nor very good in plays, though I won over Vivian with poetry and massages, and I earned her respect, something that isn't easy. Well, that's good. And that's, if you have Vivian's respect, that is the important thing. Truly. Ralph says the worst part is Starbucks is closed because of virus. Ooh, wow. Yeah, for us, Starbucks just instituted a policy of drive-through only, but they're still open. And they're one of the few places that I think can do just fine with drive-through only. Chrono says, yes, it does matter where the virus came from. Why? Why does it matter? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, unless you are a biologist and you're a person actually doing research on it or something, why does it matter? What difference is, does it matter which province in China it came from? Does it matter which market was the first documented case? Does that really make a difference to you personally? Where the virus came from? Because to me, doesn't matter. They have a digital and real speedometer in the time machine. I didn't notice that, but it's been a long time since I watched it. Some of my Facebook statuses are in the form of a log entry. I began with either Captain's Log or Captain Star Log, with or without typing the Earth date. For example, my recent Facebook status with Captain Star Log, March 21st, 2020. Very cool. Which is, I think that's how Archer did it, isn't it? The WHO tweeted a few months ago that I don't know who the WHO is, tweeted a few months ago that China said the virus wasn't contagious. So what? Or you mean the World Health Organization? Is that what you're saying? That China lied. They're a communist dick. Just leave it at that. And, but here's the thing. Do I respect the Chinese government any more or any less because the virus happened to originate in China? No. Do I think that it's like some synthetic virus designed to wipe out humanity? No, because if it was, it would be doing a whole lot better job. Darren says the people who claim to be offended by Chinese virus shouldn't be offended. They're exposing their own immaturity by making an issue of it. Well, but here's the thing, Darren. And I do agree that people that get overly defensive about it, yeah, they need to shut up. But at the same time, if it is encouraging people to have racist behavior, like has been seen, then maybe we shouldn't call it the Chinese virus. Because you know what, I don't want to encourage racist behavior. Period. COVID-19 is our retaliation for the virus you gave us in the War of the Worlds. Ah, is that what it was? Makes no sense, but okay. Peter says, in fairness, if you have seen the video clips from Italy's hospitals, you appreciate the need for extreme measures to prevent Italy from being repeated. Well, here's the thing. No. I mean, that's it. No. Here, okay, let me for example, all right, so let's go to all right, so as of right now, the population of Italy is 60.48 million people. And last I saw, there was like between 4,000 and 5,000 fatalities, right? That's for the virus. So we'll round up, say 5,000. So let's see, 60 Let's see, 6,000. There's 60 million divided by 5,000. So you have a 1 in 12,000 chance of dying from the virus. Now, is that...
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
And
I
Jaeger,
don't blame people of China. I blame communist part of China and tyrant Xi Winnie the Pooh Jinping. How is this not enough proof communism sucks?
Well, I think that here's the thing. Except for a certain Alexander, not the Alexander that's chatted today, I think most people would agree that communism sucks. I mean, I don't think there's a difference between, or that we're not talking about political ideology, and that's the problem, is that people can't separate the two. And that is a genuine problem. People, and yes, I forgot that I was gonna talk about the fact that Kenny Rogers passed away. Thank you. But anyway, it's just that if it's encouraging people to be racist, I don't want to encourage that. That's all. But anyway, so as far as the Italian thing, so you got a 1 in 12,000 chance of dying of this virus, right? Now, granted, that's a lot of people if you spread that out around the entire world. Yeah, that's true. But you know what else? Is it worth? And I'm not talking about, if you want to be real about this, is it worth destroying the economy of the planet? Because 1 in 12,000 people might die. That's a real question that we need to ask. And we know the answer, but we don't want to say the answer because it's not, and I'm not talking about the compassionate thing. I'm not talking about the Jean-Luc Picard answer. I'm talking about the real answer. Do we make every single person on the planet suffer because 1 in 12,000 might die? I call it the C virus, so I just call it the coronavirus or coronavirus when I'm in a playful mood. And yes, Bird of Prey 5 is the blame. I call it COVID-19 because I feel bad for Corona beer. It was so funny. You know what's really funny is when we were at the store today, there was lots of Corona beer on the shelf. And Chrono says, "Holy shit bricks, I thought you were there. I'm not sure what you mean by I was there." I always just call it the Wuhan virus. That's where it was at the starting point. Nothing meant as an insult. But here's the thing. If you call it the Wuhan virus, most people don't find that as being insulting. But when you call it the China virus, people do. Why? I don't know. Maybe because Wuhan is actually a more accurate way. If you're going to describe where it's from, if you want to describe where it's from, then yeah, you should not be calling it the China virus. China is way too big to say, oh, it's the Chinese anything, right? But if you say the Wuhan virus, most people, I don't think, take offense to that. Now, granted, Trump does stuff like that because Trump likes to be somewhat abrasive. To say the least. And Admiral says, think Nakik to the Spanish flu. Well, I assume you mean back to the Spanish flu. What about it? First of all, Spanish is not a place. Spain is, and Mexico is, but Spanish is a language. However, I understand what you're saying, but you know what? Most people don't know where the swine flu came from or the bird flu came from. Heck, most people don't know where SARS came from or H1N1, which is actually, well, never mind, I already mentioned that one. But you get the idea. So yes, you can name the Spanish flu, which was a freaking 100 years ago. But you know what? They don't call SARS the China virus or the Japan virus. They call it SARS. Which, by the way, is actually very closely related to this disease. I don't ever want to hear you talk about Dutch Elm's disease. Oh, stop. Now you're being silly. So, Sir Patrick Stewart is going to be on the Ready Room with Will Wheaton next week. Have you watched any of those? Nope, I purposely avoided them because I don't care what the actors have to say, quite frankly. A lot of those videos are fake. Leftists can't find or didn't want to look for it, so they started making it. Resolute. Now you're just making stuff up yourself. Oh, it's all fake. Nobody's a racist. Look, People are dicks, all right? People on both sides of the political aisle are dicks. And so I'm sorry. It's one thing to say, you could argue that, hey, calling the China virus is technically accurate. No, you should call the Wuhan virus. If you want to be accurate about it, then the only thing you should be arguing is calling it the Wuhan virus, not the China virus. However, saying that all these videos, so does white supremacy not exist? Are these white nationalists that used to march around and try to get a lot of attention? They don't exist, right? I suppose Antifa's real though, right? Miss British Robo Voice is a little twitchy tonight. I think I'll refrain from making her talk dirty tonight. Okay, Darren. Greg says, you rock, man. I'm glad I disagree with you a lot. Hey, that's okay. We can disagree. I'm okay with disagreement when I'm not. But there are some things. I will tell you. I have a sensitive spot when it comes to racism. And when I say that, I mean that because I have been directly exposed to the darker side of racism, and I have been the victim of such types of attitudes because of my relationship with Mrs. Anti-Trekker. No, I'm not going to back down from anybody that tries to suggest, and I'm not saying, and I'm certainly not saying you're saying this, Resolute, but I'm not going to back down from anybody that tries to suggest that racism is a thing of the past, so to speak. Racism is alive and well. It's fortunately not nearly as bad as it was 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 60 years ago, but it is still around. And to deny it's still around is to only allow it to fester. And I'm sorry, but to simply carte blanche suggest that all these videos are fake, well, then I think that's you're negating the fact that yes, people are discriminated against. And yes, Asian people are discriminated against. Now, am I going to say every time somebody gets into a fight with someone of Asian descent that it's racism? No, I'm not a hypersensitive nut job. But at the same time, when somebody is accusing someone of Asian descent of something just because they're Asian, well, that should not be tolerated. And that's not a political opinion. It's not a left-right issue. It's a right-wrong issue. You rock. I already read that. Let's see. There are one or two things about Star Trek Discovery that I actually kind of like, but that's not enough for me to give it a good rating if I were to do so. Well, I agree, Darren. I actually liked Pike in Season 2. I like Spock and Burnham's interactions in Season 2. But unfortunately, I think they crapped all over Season 2 with the last episode. It was just ruined everything. And unfortunately, Picard is kind of going down a similar path, where it looks like the final episode of Picard Season 1 is just going to crap all over the good stuff about the Picard season so far. And Shadowman says, I get that, but it was so long ago that I'm not even sure what we were talking about. Sorry, Shadowman. I'm way the heck behind. So the Chinese virus, Hunan, you get that's where it originated. Yeah. If you want to call it by the province, fine. Call it by the province. Period. But calling it the China virus is, it came from one specific province. Period. That's like if you want to call Jack Daniels American whiskey. No, it's Tennessee whiskey. It's not American whiskey. I think the Miss Robo Tart voice was a calculation on your part to get more super chats. No. Although, that's not a bad idea. No, not Mrs. Anti-Trekker. It's not Mrs. Anti-Trekker. Okay, good. Jeff says, all the restaurants here are either pickup or delivery only. That sucks. Tom says, breaking news, China is playing Anti-Trekker. And Hunan, however you say the province name, I'm sorry, I'm not an expert on the Chinese language. I thought it was Wuhan for some reason, but if it's Hunan, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you about the how to pronounce the name. That's not the point. If you want to call it by the name of the province, that's perfectly fine. The economy will be so wrecked after this is all over. That is the truth, Jeff. And Chrono says you should care. Why? I asked you several times, why should I care so deeply about where it's from? Why is that more important than me worrying about how to take care of my family in this crisis, how to prepare for the inevitable financial fallout that's going to happen after this. Why is where it came from should at all be pressing in my mind, considering I am not a biologist and not a researcher on this. I feel sorry for all those gals that can't pick up guys in the bars after they get drunk. No idea what you're talking about there, DJ. Epic says, the live stream's still not showing on my subscriptions homepage. I'm beginning to think YouTube is hiding. Yeah, they might be. I must have gotten on a naughty list. I may not care for politics. They are still there. I didn't say politics aren't there. But this virus is not a part of a political party, or maybe you didn't know that. And yes, I'm a World Health Organization. I figured that out eventually. Ralph says, I blame Umbrella for the C-cell virus. You should. It's a matter of holding the CCP responsible for these actions. They're only claiming racism to deflect responsibility. You know, I've never heard the Chinese government accuse anybody of racism. Now, maybe they accuse Trump of it because Trump keeps calling it the China virus. And I know that Trump is doing that just to agitate people, which, kind of makes their point. But you know what? If he was calling it the Hunan or Wuhan or however you call the province virus, I would not have a problem with. And Viomike says virologists are calling it SARS-CoV-2. So, well, if that's what if a virologist calls it SARS-CoV-2, which by the way is this is the same virus as SARS was, it's just the bat variant of it, then that makes sense. That's what it should be called, not the China virus. Darren says, I don't think calling it a Chinese virus has anything to do with racism or racist behavior. You're just seeing anecdotally to Asian Americans. Okay, then first of all, it's if it's not, then let me ask you, what is the benefit in calling it the China virus? And it's not called. I've never heard it. The funny thing is, yeah, it's Trump mainly, but what is the benefit to calling it that? I mean, if you want to go to the mat on this, Kronos, you still have yet to tell me why I should care. Maybe you have, and I just haven't gotten to that chat yet because I'm about 10 minutes behind. Chinese virus isn't racist. I didn't say the virus was racist. And Nightbreeze puts in a buck.
I got him! Racist! Don't get cocky.
Toss a roll to your anti-tricker. Death to disco.
You got it, my friend. Death to disco indeed. Yes. All right, KG says, no one has ever been offended before. I don't know why it's labeled racist now. We will then have to change the names of all previous diseases, Ebola, MERS, and so on. No, you don't have to change the name of all previous diseases. That's not the point. But not, first of all, people that argue, if you want to argue that it's a naming convention, that you always name viruses based on their point of origin, that is incorrect, and that is factually demonstrable. That is not the case. If that were the case, we would not have called it SARS or H1N1 or the swine flu or the bird flu or any of that. It all would have had a place labeled to it, right? But no, generally speaking, we don't do that. Now, sometimes we do, but not always. And so that's not a rule of thumb. Second of all, if you were going to call it by its specific province, fine. But then the problem is that once a name for a disease is categorized, now this one when it came out was the coronavirus is how most people were calling it. Now the problem is coronavirus is a more generic term. That would be like saying influenza, right? Which is the flu, of course. But so what is the specific strain of the coronavirus? And that's where we got the COVID-19. And so COVID-19 is the technical name of the virus, right? But now because Trump wants to be a dick, he keeps calling it the China virus. Like it's and the problem is that some people take it as to mean it's a virus that Chinese people carried over to America, like they were like these filthy, disgusting people, and people are being treated like that. And I don't agree with that behavior. But here's the thing. Am I saying that it's racist to say that the virus is from China? Of course not. That's a fact. However, if you know for a fact that there are assholes out there that will use that as an excuse for racist behavior because they hear someone say it's the China virus, and so they're going to start making crap up. And believe me, don't try to pretend for 1 minute that we have not heard 8 million stories about these idiots out there saying, oh, gargle with bleach and it'll help. Lie out in the hot sun and it'll help. You know, all these stupid ass things that people are saying that they think about this virus. So them, you know, a group of people thinking that, oh, if you call it the China virus, it's because of these filthy Chinese people. Guess what? That's not all that far-fetched. And yet you want to say, oh, but you're just a snowflake because you don't want to offend people. No, it has nothing to do with offending people. I don't want to encourage racist behavior. And so I am not going to call it that because there's no need to call it. There's absolutely no need to call it that. You can call it COVID-19, you can call it the coronavirus, and if you want to be a joker about it, you can call it the coronavirus. But you know what? The China virus could be any virus that originated in China. Anyway, London basically is allowing everyone to do whatever they want. No shutdowns really to speak of. Let's see if they become the next Italy. I sure hope not. I doubt it because Italy also has one other factor that people aren't taking into account, which is that Italy has a very elderly population. And Darren says, the gambler died this week too. Kenny Rogers, if you don't get the reference. Yeah, I know. It is very sad. I grew up on Kenny Rogers. And yes, sad that he's gone. I didn't call it the Chinese virus. I called it the coronavirus or COVID-19. And trigger, I would get fired from my medical job if I called it anything else. Well, I don't work in medicine, so I can't speak to that. But there you go. I would take that as anecdotal evidence that calling it the Chinese virus is technically less accurate. There's a few million Bernie brothers that disagree that communists suck. Well, yeah, but I don't think too many of them subscribe to this channel. People who are not already racist cannot be encouraged to be racist. It doesn't work that way. I didn't say they can be encouraged to be racist. I said that their racist behavior can be encouraged and emboldened, if you will. It gives them just one more excuse to do something stupid. Let's see. Zach says, yes, Kenny Rogers, R.I.P. Kenny Rogers, got no one to hold him, no one to hold him, no when to walk away, no when to run. People who dislike Chinese virus also inexplicably don't like Kung Fu. Okay. If that's not getting your reference there, because you're referring to the old TV show. I didn't like the fact that Bruce Lee was basically kicked from his own project, but I like the show. A lot of viruses came from China. Bird flu, swine flu, and now this one. Yes, and yet we don't call bird flu or swine flu the China virus. Wonder why. The death toll is going to skyrocket because their health system is on the verge of absolute collapse. Okay. I doubt it. I think that people are seeing the sky is falling. But honestly, but here's the problem. When it comes down to it, there's two possibilities. Either this virus is going to... thank you, Darren. Yes, my dyslexia kicked in on that. But the either if the virus is as deadly as some people fear, which, by the way, based on the numbers, is not basically proven, but what people fear, then yeah, that's a bad thing. The highest death toll to infectious rate is Italy, and Italy also has the, if my understanding is correct, and I'm not an expert on this, but just talking to people in Europe, I understand that it's true that Italy has probably the most elderly population of all of Europe, and if so, it would kind of make sense that they would have a much higher death rate than other countries in Europe. And so I don't think that all of a sudden everybody's going to be dropping like flies. But let's say it is that deadly. Let's say it's just like a slow-acting Ebola, and it kills half or more of all the people ever infected. And there's no cure, and there's no treatment. Well, then that sucks, but there's not much we can do about it. And I don't think destroying the world's economy is going to make it any better. What I find interesting, Darren says if something is from Spain, it's Spanish. True, but you know what? Like I said, you don't say if you say nobody says the Chinese bird flu, right? Not a phrase that is commonly spoken. What I find interesting, medical face masks are in short supply. I know the military has years of surplus supplies like masks. Well, yeah, that's the military. And Chrono says, I don't have a trouble disagreeing with you. Okay, that's good, I suppose. The thing is, COVID-19 was first documented in China. We don't know that it originated in China. Well, that's true. We just know that, we know that the first documented cases came out of that specific one market in that one province. But, but even so, like I said, it doesn't really matter, as far as that's concerned. What's more important about COVID-19 is finding an effective vaccine against it. That's more important than where it came from. And the problem is, and this is not just, this is a problem in our political system, this is a problem in our society, in the Western world in general. We get so obsessed over pointing the finger at someone to blame them that we're too busy blaming people than to freaking fix the problem. I'm still seeing people on the news sitting there blaming Trump. You know what? Trump didn't invent the virus. How about we just focus our efforts on prevention for those that are not infected, treatment for those that are, and hopefully a viable vaccine as soon as possible. Resolute says, I'm not saying they're all fake, but a lot of them have been proven frauds. Okay, okay, if you say so. Easy to call out peeps as dicks. Well, a lot of people are. There are three kinds of people in this world: dicks, pussies, and assholes. Now, pussies get mad at dicks once in a while because pussies get fucked by dicks, but dicks also fuck assholes. That's wrong. Racism only exists in one race, according to CNN. Well, this is not CNN. LDG is in the house. Good morning. Chrono says, I don't see racism in the China virus. It's just the origin of the virus. That's how viruses are named. That is not how viruses are named, Kronos. That is not how... Dude, I love you, man. I truly do. I think you're a great guy, and I love having you around. But show me one other virus that is simply called the singular name of a country followed by virus in the common vernacular. There's not the Japan virus. There's not the America virus. There's not the Germany virus. There's not the UK virus. There's not the Korea virus, right? But instead, you want to say this is how we just name viruses. Unless you're an official for the CDC, I really doubt that you can throw. And maybe you do have some, but at the same time, the common vernacular for viruses I leave to the freaking experts. And you know what the freaking experts call it? COVID-19. They don't call it the China virus. The China virus was that was coined by Donald Trump. And you know what? Donald Trump ain't an expert on healthcare. Just saying. I'm not saying he's the worst president ever. I'm not saying he's the best president ever. But he is not a doctor. And as Vile said, he's not... I don't know if I've never heard of the term virologist before. But he's certainly not that either. All right? So if you want to call it that, that's fine. But I still think you're just doing it to be a dick. Because that's not the name of the virus. And in fact, okay, so let's see. What is, if we go to, I know Google is maybe not the best source in the world for everything, but it's what we got if you happen to. All right, so if we go into Google and we type in China virus. All right. Chinese virus. Let's see. Every story about when you type in China virus is either has nothing to do. It doesn't say China virus at all. It says like talking about the coronavirus or COVID-19, or it's a story about Trump calling it the China virus. It is not called the China virus. Sorry, it just isn't. Let's see. Racism was I'm looking for a lawyer in the phone book and I'm sounding out their name so I can select the most Jewish sounding name. Well, that is a form of racial prejudice, yes. I guess my perspective is different because I'm here in Europe, Ireland, and I have friends and colleagues in Italy as well. I understand, and that's the thing. But also, and this is something that I didn't get to say when you were mentioning that earlier, and because I got sidetracked by this whole China virus nonsense. But the fact is that, yeah, you go into the ICU where people are suffering, and you say, oh my God, look how horrible it is. But you know what? If they were suffering from the flu, or they were suffering from some other virus, or as you know, you would see the same thing. The ICU is never a pleasant place to just stroll around. Now, yes, in Italy, they are hitting capacity because of this outbreak, and that is sad, and that's really more of a statement about the state of the Italian healthcare system, and all these people that are bragging about how awesome their socialized medicine programs are, think it's great until everybody needs medicine, and then they realize that it doesn't actually have an infinite supply. And that's really a big problem with universal healthcare in general.
Hello, world.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
What about the coronavirus? Valid exception?
Well, the coronavirus, interesting point, LDG, is that calling it the coronavirus is not racist because it is true that Bird of Prey 5 is, in fact, a giant macrovirus. So he is the coronavirus. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Issa Brony, Soj Dobbs, etc., said on Ready Room that she was not told to watch TNG episode The Offspring. She actually looked that up herself. They should have made that mandatory. Well, like I said, I don't watch those shows because I don't care, honestly. You said it right, Wuhan. Okay, I don't know. That's what I thought it was, but someone was trying to say that I was wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Valor says, I found a way to bug her friend. I texted Vivian a link to one of your Star Trek Discovery videos, and she's fuming. You seem to be able to get under some people's skin. I sure can. I do tend to agitate people at times. But, you know, like Kronos, I'm making mad today. But I love you, Kronos. You should care because there's a lot of politics involved. Just because you don't look at the news, it's important. No. I think you're misunderstanding me, Kronos. The virus itself, you know what? Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, whether you're a socialist, a communist, a capitalist, or whatever you call yourself, the virus doesn't give a crap. The virus doesn't discriminate based on your race or your gender or your political ideology or your sexual preference or any of that. It just wants to infect you. And, if it's lucky, kill you. So no, this is not a damn political issue. The problem is that Republicans and Democrats and communists and socialists and everybody else wants to politicize it. They want to sit there and waste time pointing the finger at other people trying to say how it's more their fault than our fault, like that is what's important. I do not care who started it. I do not care who lied about it. Because you know what I care about? Saving lives. And yes, is it wrong what happened as far as China lying about it? Sure. But you know what? Is that going to change what's going on? Vindicating yourself by saying that the Chinese government were a bunch of dicks and didn't tell us everything up front? No, it's not going to fix one damn thing, is it? What we need to do is focus all of our resources, all of our efforts onto prevention and cure. That's it. Not, wasting time pointing the finger or playing the hate game. I'm not interested in that. And the thing is that calling it the China Wuhan virus or whatever you want to call it is, all you're trying to do is dig your feet into the ground, giving it an improper name because somebody was offended by it, and you think either you think they're being stupid for being offended, or you just want to be a dick about it. And quite frankly, that's, because you're sitting there saying that, oh, but that's what it's called. No, it's not. That's demonstrably true. And you know it. You damn well know it. And that's the problem, Kronos. You know full well that this virus is not called the China virus. There is not a doctor on this planet that's walking around warning people of the China virus. All right, so don't tell me that's what it's called. That's just what one particular political leader happens to call it. And he happens to have a reputation for purposely saying things to get a rise out of people. And I'm not playing that game. I'm not interested in saying things just to get a rise out of people. I'm heading to bed. Have a good insert relative time period here. All right, Vile Mike, have a good one, my friend. Don't forget to sub to Vile Mike's channel if you haven't already. If you want a sample of his work, check out my recent video with him and his daughter in it, reviewing Balance of Terror. Groot looks good, indeed. I'm looking forward to painting that thing in the next few days. Darren says, disease is named after place. West Nile. Oh, there is West Nile. Very good. Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Lyme disease. Lyme disease? Is Lyme a place? Ebola. I didn't know about Ebola. German measles. Okay. I've never heard of German measles before. Japanese encephalitis and Middle East respiratory syndrome. Well, actually, I'll tell you why. The Middle East respiratory syndrome, which is actually interesting that you mentioned that one, MERS. And MERS. I've talked about that one before on this channel because that one is the coronavirus. So yeah, that was an outbreak of the coronavirus, except that instead of the bat strain of coronavirus, it was actually a camel strain, and it was fortunately limited to the Middle East. Now, in that particular case, and I can't speak for most of the others, but I do think that there's actually a precedent here that might be part of the reason for it, as far as in the recent naming convention, is that Middle East respiratory syndrome was in fact contained to the Middle East. So it's not like Middle East respiratory syndrome was a worldwide outbreak. It was not a true pandemic. Oh, awesome. Finally, I got the notification that the isopropyl alcohol that I ordered has been shipped. I was beginning to think it was never going to arrive, so I'm so glad about that. And not because I'm paranoid about the virus, but actually just because of the... I need it for some of the stuff I do with the painting and stuff. Anyway, you don't care about politics? Well, here's the thing, Kronos. Do I care about politics? On a certain level, yeah, sure. When election seasons come around, I pay attention to what the candidates want to do. I weigh my options as far as comparing their platforms to my particular beliefs, and I vote accordingly. During my everyday course of life, when there's a big political discussion going on, I do pay attention to what the discussion is. I listen to the pros and cons. I get an opinion or whatever, and I pay attention to what's going on. And LDG puts in $2. Thank you so much.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
In more worried about CBS virus killing Star Trek.
Indeed. I'll agree with you on that one. That is, but here's the thing. So as far as and thank you for the $2. I do appreciate it, LD. Yeah, CBS. Why can't CBS, if there's an executive for CBS, because you guys are all sitting at home now, right, in your solid gold swimming pools with nothing to do. So if any of you happen to stop by this channel for some stupid ass reason, and you hear me ranting about viruses, and you can hear, see, I'm an even-minded guy because, you know, I'm against racism, right? Diversity, woohoo. Okay, so can you please hire me to come help you fix Star Trek? Because clearly nobody at CBS knows what the hell Star Trek is supposed to be. So please hire me. You can send me a direct message on my Twitter. Please have your people call me. You know what? I as much as I would hate to do it, I would move to Hollywood to help you fix Star Trek. All right. I'll even violate the lockdown and come to CBS. I'll drive there tomorrow. Granted, I would need an advance in pay, but you know. But anyway, Cronus, as far as the politics. So do I care in a general sense about politics? Sure. However, when we're talking about a pandemic, do I care about the politics more than I care about anything else when it comes to the pandemic? No. Politics, blame game, any of that stuff is a distant second to containment, prevention, and cure. That's all that matters. We need to keep in mind what country and their bat soup eating BS habits caused the outbreak. Wow. Not gonna even touch that one. Twitter, China accused the U.S. military for releasing the Wuhan virus on China so they could admit fault. And they should admit fault. I'm sure that China says a lot of stuff on Twitter. So does our president. Phantom Menace says, I'm worried about this virus. You know what? I will quote I don't normally do this on anything but my Sunday streams, but I will quote the Bible to you. Has even 1 second been added to your life by worrying? The answer is no. Crow says, I still love you, dude. Just need to listen to some more news that aren't MSM. I don't know what MSM even means, but if you mean MSNBC, I don't watch that crap. Generally speaking, as far as news, I flip around a bit because there is no such thing as an unbiased news source, and I'm tired of everybody trying to blame Trump. Or the funny thing is, Fox is busy trying to say how Trump is a hero. You know, it's like, how about we just focus in on the real issue? Prevention, containment, cure. Trump is calling it the China virus because he's mad at the Chinese government for not being forthcoming with information on the coronavirus early enough. That's benefit, call out China Gov. Well, here's the thing. I get that. And that's I believe, I truly believe that's true. I think that he's calling it to piss off the Chinese because the Chinese didn't give us enough information early on. But you know what that does? All that does is then piss off the Chinese, who are then trying to say that the Americans released it so that we, and it's just going to go back and forth with a stupid game. They're acting like 3-year-olds. These are freaking world leaders. They can act like adults. I'm sorry. I don't give a crap about the pussy grab comment before the election. I do give a crap about this. This is Donald Trump acting like a 3-year-old when he needs to be the bigger man. Sorry, it's not relevant. Yes, it sucks. And yes, he can say, well, we probably have a better handle on this had China been more forthcoming at the beginning, but we're working on doing what we can, and here's what people need to do right now. That's it. You don't need to start playing games about calling the China virus. And then Valor says, sorry about China's government. No, I get what you mean. I know you didn't mean that the entire country of China accused us of anything. Ralph says, I had my dealings with KKK in the past work as a proto-journalist. They are a pathetic group of losers who blame everyone else for their problems. That is true. I've dealt with, and by the way, I will tell you, I've had some direct interactions with the Westboro Baptist Church. You want to talk about some crazies. Woo! And Peter, I can never get your name right, puts €5 in. Thank you so much, my friend. And really? Okay.
Hello, world.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
Do you think that Picard would be improved? Your complicated story they're telling wasn't so rushed and crammed into a short number of episodes?
Yes, I do think that Picard should be about 20 to 25 episodes, not 10. And not, because here's the thing, it felt like, especially going from episode 6 to 7, that it's like they were like, oh crap, we only got 3 episodes left. So anyway, Conclave of 8. You know, they just like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we got to totally change everything and get to the ending. And so, yeah, that is a major problem with the series as a whole. Is I know it's funny because people are saying, oh, it's too slow. They drug it. No, it's too fast. And there were a lot of interesting things that they never touched on. That, you know, oh, well, guess we're just going to skip that now. But instead, we got what we got. Zachary says, you can also call it out to the first person who contacted the virus, like Barclay's protomorphosis syndrome. Well, I know that sometimes diseases are named after, like, Lou Gehrig's disease and other things. But, however, that's still, the point is that that's not the name of this virus. You could have named it the China virus, but that's not what the virus was ever named. That's just what Donald Trump says to piss off the Chinese government. China's saying the coronavirus is over in Wuhan. I don't know if that's true because China doesn't always tell the truth. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, but what I would look at is the non-Chinese numbers to kind of get a feel for it. Corona says, I just did. Not sure what you did. I hope you didn't poop yourself. Oh, sure. German measles is fine, but not Chinese virus. I see how you are. Trump exposes the left's foolishness by calling it that. They have no clue what he is doing to them. No, I've never heard of the German measles, is what I specifically said. Because I haven't. I've only heard of the measles. So I don't know what the difference between measles is from German measles. I genuinely don't. Thank you for making me stand up for stuff. I totally disagree with you, and I'm still not unsumming. All right. I was at Walmart the other day, and they were struggling with stocking shelves, and it was controlled chaos. They should shut down the grocery stores now. No, they should not. What happened? Think about this, fandom. They shut down the grocery stores. Within a couple of weeks, people start to starve. You really think that's a good idea? For some reason, it wasn't racist for the left-wing media to call it the China or Wuhan virus. It was okay then, but not now. And no, I don't call it the China or Wuhan virus. Well, I didn't have a problem with people calling it the Wuhan virus because that is where it started. And that's the thing. But the point is that Trump calls it the China virus just to be a dick. And I'm sorry, but I got better things to worry about, or more important things to worry about, than pissing off other people that could potentially help us in finding a cure. COVID-19 is a mutation of SARS, the first coronavirus, and SARS happened way back in 2003. So I'm thinking that COVID-19 could continue to haunt us for decades to come. Well, I don't know that, and I'm not an expert. I'm not a virologist or anything like that. So I don't believe SARS was actually the first coronavirus. It was just the first major outbreak in the 21st century. But I do know that SARS and MERS were both coronaviruses. And by the way, my understanding is coronavirus is actually normally not human, and that's one of the, basically that's why it's like MERS was from camels. SARS, I can't remember what it was from originally, and this one, COVID-19, is from bats. We're now 15 weeks away from American Independence Day, number 243, one of two. Let's hope the outbreak ends by the end of April so we can have 4th of July celebrations, and July 1st Canada Day celebrates before that as well. That would be nice, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sucks. I'm going to be under, at this point, on my birthday, I'm going to be going nowhere. COVID-19 thing could be his practice run for a more deadly disease eventually hit us. Well, there is a good conspiracy theory. An LDG puts in $2.
Shut down grocery stores. Who said that? You're fired.
Yes, I think that would be a very, very bad idea. The problem with Italy is that they were prepared and actually turned away anyone over 65 because you could treat 3 younger people in the time it takes to treat a 65-year-old. Cold, but true. Well, but here's the thing. They were not prepared. I mean, they're not. They're just not. And this is proof of it. I mean, granted, yes, this is a major outbreak, but their healthcare system is woefully inadequate for this kind of thing. And that's one of the reasons that, like, they know. And notice, listen carefully to what the experts are saying. Nobody's talking about stopping the spread of the disease. The whole point of the quarantines and stuff is just to slow it down a little bit so that we don't overload the healthcare system. But the problem with that is that, how about instead of telling people to, lock themselves up in their house where they think it's the freaking zombie apocalypse, so they're buying all the toilet paper and stuff and potentially causing irreparable damage, how about you just tell them to wash their hands, right? I see these stupid things like on the news where all the newscasters are now social distancing. Oh, stay 6 feet apart. Ooh, don't get too close. Oh my God, are you really that stupid? Because you know what? They say the virus can last airborne for 3 hours. So if Billy is 6 feet away from you and coughs, I'm pretty sure that within 3 hours, those germs are going to waft their way over to you. So let's not pretend that 6 feet is a cure. That's a joke. You know what's not a joke? Wash your damn hands. A lot. Use hand sanitizer. Don't do stupid ass things like touch a dirty surface and then touch your face. Break yourself of those habits. Cough into your sleeve, not into your hands. Right? Crow says, I don't fear where the virus comes from. I do know that it's from China, so I call it like the scientists do, the origin from Wuhan, China. Show me where the scientists are calling it that. Please, Kronos, that's all I ask. I will apologize and take it back if you show me where the CDC calls it the China virus. Phantom Menace says, I'll bet there's going to be baby booms in certain parts of the world in the coming months after the pandemic ends. What do you think? Absolutely, I think there will be. In fact, true story, we went to the store like a week ago, and among the various supplies that were completely sold out was birth control, which we thought was funny. Nightbreeze says, have a great night. Have a good one, my friend. You want to trade with a country that throws viruses at you? Okay. Kronos, I'm not talking about freaking trade. You see, what? Let's see. Japanese encephalitis, 1871. Yeah, because 1871, that's relevant. Donald Trump brand things is what he does. Rocket Man, Crooked Hillary, Pocahontas, etc. He's going to call COVID-19 what he's going to call it. I understand that, but you know what? He's doing it just to piss people off. That is a fact. And you know what I'm done with? Politicians saying things just to piss people off. It serves no purpose, and in fact can be detrimental to the overall goal of curing this damn thing. How about we just focus on curing the damn thing? Ozzy says, your comment on universal health care is not valid. Canada doesn't have medication problems, quite the opposite. Well, that's because Canada steals their medicine from the United States. PDR says, Antrager has nothing to do with socialized medicine, and I think that America will find out soon enough, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong in this prediction. Well, we will find out. I mean, will the United States do a better job containing it than, say, the EU? That'll be an interesting statistic to look at. Because the EU is very much like the United States, a group of sovereign states under one roof. And so far, the EU is not doing so hot. You know, I don't know what the current numbers are, but let's see if we can find anything. Let's see. COVID-19 map. And I don't know if this is the right one. I always have trouble finding the right damn map. There it is. The John Hopkins one is the one I usually like to look at. All right. So, as of right now, there's about 307 total cases. And so let's see. I wonder when was. So in the United States, so far we have 26,747 cases of COVID-19. In Italy, we have 53,000. Spain, we have 25,000. Germany, we have 22,000. France, we have 14,000. So, yeah, I would say the United States is doing a far better job containing this than the EU. So, yeah. Oh, it looks like Baby Groot is done. Very cool. I'll check that out later. And in fact, why not finish the live stream with something fun? So I'll go grab Baby Groot.
I have got to go on a walkabout to
be right back.
To go see that big red rock in the outback. And this week at Outback, we're having Outback Special with 2 lobster tails, $17.99. Ask your waiter. I will tell you that Ozzy will pray and my cousin.
Sorry. All right, so get rid of this. But and so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see in the long term how the United States does compared to the EU. Italy has about 300 to 400 people dying per day from the virus. U.S. has average. The U.S. average number is about 400 to 450 a day before the virus. Italy, well, you see, here's the thing. Comparing Italy to the United States is not a fair comparison. It would be more like comparing Italy to, say, California. They copied the Orville in the latest episode of Picard, so does that mean the Seth MacFarlane can sue them for copyright infringement? No. Actually, it's kind of funny because we actually found that in a couple episodes of Voyager, they actually referred to Quantum Drive, so then they could turn around and countersue. The CCP must be held responsible, or they are very likely to do the same thing the next time something happens. How are you going to hold them responsible, Resolute? Seriously. Oh, and I'm sorry, LDG put in a super chat, and it probably didn't play because Ozzy will pray. I apologize for that. But eBay toilet paper and sort by high price. Oh my God. Yeah. I was actually thinking about, because we have a couple of packs of toilet paper, and I was like thinking about putting one up on sale, like first person to put a $500 super chat gets a roll of toilet paper or something. So, I mean, it is that crazy. And that's the scary thing. Ozzy says, what's next on the printer? Ooh, I have a couple of things that I'm thinking about, but I'm going to do something that's a hard body, like a spaceship type of thing to get ready for when I'm printing the USS Anti-Trekker. But we'll reveal Baby Groot in just a minute. Let me get, let's see, I'm way behind in the chat. Rambling Canuck says, might be bad, but you just made me think of raising my kids when you said, I don't care who started it, y'all need to say so, knock it off, both of you, but that's thanks for the I get it, yeah. And that's the thing, Trump is behaving like a kid. Someone needs to spank his ass and tell him that I don't care who started it, fix it. Tubian says, can we talk about something else, please? Yes, indeed. I'm going to stop with all the coronavirus stuff because it's just too depressing right now. But warp speed is faster than light, but photon torpedoes and phasers are not. So if ships can travel faster than light, what the weapons can't, doesn't that make space combat useless? No, because you're wrong in your basic concept. Okay, so warp speed is not faster than light. Warp speed is actually bending space to make it appear that you're moving faster than light. Phasers are not truly an energy beam, they are a particle beam. And the energy emitted by the nadion particles acts as a warp sustainer. So basically, when it fires phasers from a warp field, the warp field extends with the phasers because the warp field is literally powered by the phasers as it extends out, allowing the phasers to move at warp, whatever the warp speed of the ship is, plus the speed of the nadion particles. Photon torpedoes actually do have warp sustainers in them. And that was actually shown in canon when we got to see that a Class 10 probe, which is just a photon torpedo, but without an explosive warhead, it's used for scientific study rather than explosive, was used as an emergency passenger vehicle, and it was faster than the Enterprise at maximum warp. So yes, photon torpedoes are in fact warp capable, and phasers are like little mini warp extenders. All right, so let's see. You know, you can't drink isopropyl alcohol. No, it's for the 3D printing stuff, and so yeah, I use it for that. I want my solid gold toilet antrager. You can have it. I hate my solid gold toilet antrager. You can have it. All right, Cronus, well, you can send it to me, and I will auction it off. I don't want you to be involved directly with Star Trek. You're too biased in favor of TOS. Wow, what a dick. Let's see. And no offense to anybody that's talking about the coronavirus. I'm skipping that for now because it's just too depressing right now. We're going to talk about it some more tomorrow anyway. Let's see. I feel like light-headed people float to the top of corporate hierarchies, and that's why the shallowest people at CBS get green light and the stupidest ideas like shows for Star Trek. You may be right, Man of Sand. I don't know what the heck that is. Yeah, why did some of these ideas end up being turned into shows? I do not know. Alexander says, yes, Andy Trekker 2020. Oh, no, I don't want to run. Did you get to punch any members of the Westboro Baptist Church in the throat? Oh, man, what did that feel like? I wanted to, but no, I did not. And so I heard that Amazon tried to, I've heard a lot of different rumors about why it's only 10 episodes, but I think that was the intent from the beginning. I mean, look at Discovery. Discovery season's been 12, 13 episodes. So really it's nothing that earth-shakingly different. And let's see, skipping the coronavirus stuff because we're done with that. Sorry if I said I'm sorry. Well, I just said sorry. I said I'm sorry. Wow, I'm really pissing you off. And Jeff says, when is your birthday? Mine's May 31st. Mine is April 20th. So yes, 420 insert weed jokes. I think when spring comes, the virus may dissipate. Well, hopefully, but I don't think it'll have anything to do with the ambient temperature. And so with OCD, it feels like everyone's way behind. 7 years plus washing my hands and using hand sanitizer. Yes. And let's see. And gargle with bleach. Yeah, I actually said that too. That the bleach gargling is like Darwinian. Yeah, we should just allow it. Let's see. Oh, Canada stealing medication thing. I'm not going to get into that. What's next on 3D printer? Don't know yet. I have a couple of things that I might print, but I do want it to be something that has a metallic feel to it, like a ship hull, so that I can, make that work. LDG Pixel says $30,000. Send me $30,000 and I will send you 3 rolls of toilet paper. The difference, and I mean, actually, let's see. Time for me to take my antihistamines. And yes, these are antihistamines, nothing more. Actually, Allegra specifically has to do with my knee implant. Helps fight the allergic reaction I get from it. Breaking news, UN says banning osteopray stops the virus. No, that's been proven to be false, actually. Seriously, how do you think Obama would have dealt with it? I don't know. I don't. And let's see. I was under the impression that phasers could not be fired at warp because they were sublight particle weapon. Torpedoes could sustain warp speeds. No, we've seen phasers fired at warp all the way back to the original series. And in fact, even in Star Trek The Motion Picture, when they were at warp and they had the asteroid in front of them, first thing Kirk wanted to do was fire phasers at it. And let's see. And Ozzy says yes. On the show Enterprise and on Voyager, they show ships firing phasers in the original series as well. I'm pretty sure I had to laugh at your sorry bit. I'm petty, so I had to laugh at your sorry bit. Gotcha. Allegra's the new Viagra. If only that were true. It's midnight for you. Wish William Shatner a happy birthday. Indeed. Happy birthday, William Shatner. You made it one more orbit around the sun. All right, so if I Thomas, if I type tanks, well, you get noticed. That's fine. All right, so this is now obviously you can see the support structure is still all around him, but this is of course Baby Groot. Baby Groot is the largest print I've made so far. To put things in perspective, here is the Hulk next to Baby Groot. I know Hulk is semi-transparent because he is of course green, and here is Baby Yoda next to Baby Groot. And so, yes, Baby Groot is definitely the largest physical print I've done. And so now, this is why you got to get if you're going to get a 3D printer, get a removable magnetic print bed. Makes removing prints so much easier. So the next step in the process is going to be carefully removing all the support stuff. And yeah, so like what you see for the vomit and what I was talking about, if you look carefully, you can see what this is it's just a support structure so that his mouth didn't melt closed when it tried to print the interior of his mouth. And so it puts the support structure underneath any part of the structure that is at too steep an angle for it to print without it just melting down. And that's why you can see it like here following the arm up. That support structure will remove and trim off of it. And the tricky part is going to be things like if you look carefully at his hand, there's a little bit of support structure at the base of a couple of the fingers that you want to be careful not to break off the finger when you're doing that. Now, fortunately, this is a pretty strong model, but I still need to take my time with removing this. Some of it is easy, like the raft that he's sitting on, that'll just break off in little bits, no big deal. But removing the support structure, that's going to take several, probably a couple of hours to remove it all, and then a little bit of sanding, and I'm hoping to have it basically primed and stuff in the next couple of days. Then once I have him all primed up and sanded, then we'll take him over to the airbrush and try to make him as realistically wooden as we can, which I'm very excited about because he's got so much texture. Like I love, if you look at the back, look at all that texture on his back. I think it came out pretty darn good. And so, you want to get the nooks and crannies with like a dark brown and black, and then you want a lighter brown on the outside, and so it's going to take several layers of paint. So this is going to be a fun one when it's done. And then I'll be honest with you guys, being the cheap bastard that I am, I'll probably end up, assuming the economy doesn't collapse, I'll probably end up either putting these on eBay or just giving them away at some point in the future. But hopefully the economy doesn't collapse, because if it does, well, we're all kind of screwed anyway. You can remove the support structures quickly using an inverted positron beam. If only I had one, yes. I love how you are stroking Groot. Get yourself multiple pairs of plastic nippers to remove structures. Oh, I have a whole bunch of I have some, I have pliers, I have diagonal cutters, all sorts of stuff for just such a thing. Let's see. Regarding Allegra, various fruits and vegetables have antihistamine-like properties like bell peppers, broccoli, berries, pineapple, apples, red onions, and ginger. Some of those, unfortunately, I can't have, but, that's, which is just unfortunate, but yeah. 3D print that poop logo that sits on your mic. Poop logo that sits on my mic? No idea what you're talking about. However, I am going to 3D model a poop logo one of these days. But for right now, for my next print, it's going to be something metallic, like I said, because I want to get ready for printing to sit on the mic. Gotcha. So 3D print one to sit on the mic itself. That's actually not a bad idea. I may do that. And 3D print a TOS phaser. That's an easy one, but I want to do something that is more consistent with a Starship hull. Like the phaser, I did see a couple of nice 3D models of classic phasers that you can print. But yeah, something like a robot or mech. Yeah, exactly, Manasan. That's probably what I'm going to do. I actually started to print a robot, but unfortunately the print failed very early on. This is all I got of him. See who can guess who that is. 3D print a battleship. Yeah, that's gonna happen real fast. You need more Doom masks while debating. Yes, I'm gonna have to reprint Dr. Doom one of these days. Very close, Cronus. It is not Bender, but you are very close. Yeah, Alexander and Cronus. This is not Bender, but you are very close. It is Bender's baby that he had with the pop machine at Planet Express. All right, so with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out with me, and you guys are the best. And Flexo, yeah, I got to do Flexo too. A nice heavy-duty anti-trucker poop emoji you put on my car shifter. That's just wrong. That is just sick and wrong, but that's why I love you guys. And hopefully the world doesn't end, and we'll talk tomorrow. Take care.
Making your way with the nerds today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from hating JJ sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to just get laid? Sometimes you wanna go where all the Trekkies know your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Turds of a feather flock together, that's what we believe. We know a place that's got you covered, a place to get relief. Wouldn't you like to say me poo? Sometimes you wanna go where Turnistanies know your name, and all Kurogans are to blame. You wanna be where you can see Kuroga go up in flames. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! 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 You son of a bitch, you son of a bitch, anti-tracker! You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! You son of a bitch, you son of a bitch, anti-tracker! You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! You son of a bitch! You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! 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 You son of a